Are you tired of struggling to visualize your dream home? We'll say goodbye to the guesswork and say hello to Homestyler. Homestyler is the revolutionary app that puts professional-grade interior design tools right at your fingertips. Whether you're redecorating your living room or planning a full home renovation, Homestyler has got you covered. With Homestyler, you can create stunning 3D renderings of your space, experiment with thousands of colors and textures, place virtual furniture and decor from top brands, and even take a virtual tour of your design. It's like having an interior designer, but in your pocket 24/7. Perfect for homeowners, renters, and professional designers. But the fun does not stop there. For a limited time, they are offering an exclusive deal to our listeners. Use promo code DARK10, all lowercase, at checkout to get an extra 10% off your Homestyler subscription. This is 10% off their already competitive prices. Don't let your dream home remain just a dream. Visit homestyler.com today and use promo code DARK10 and start designing the space that you have always dreamed of and wanted. Homestyler, where your vision becomes reality. Hey besties, and welcome back to another episode of Dark Crossroads, where you get to hang out with me, Roxanne. And on today's episode, we are going to be diving very deep into a perplexing series of disappearances that have baffled investigators for decades. This is one of the most unsolved mysteries in New England, and we are talking about the Bennington Triangle. Nestled in the southwestern corner of Vermont, this roughly 100 square mile area has been the site of numerous unexplained vanishings, strange occurrences, and local legends. From hikers who seem to just vanish into thin air, to vehicles that disappear without a trace, the Bennington Triangle has earned its reputation as one of America's most mysterious locations. The Bennington Triangle is not just a place, it's a phenomenon. It's where logic seems to break down and the impossible becomes possible. People have been disappearing here long before it had its name, and the mysteries continue to happen to this day. Today, we'll explore the history, the disappearances, and the theories surrounding this region. We will try to cover the whole phenomenon and maybe, just maybe, get a little closer to unraveling the truth behind these baffling incidents. Welcome to the Bennington Triangle. Before we dive deeper, here's a quick fun fact about the Bennington Triangle. The term Bennington Triangle was not coined until 1992, decades after the most famous disappearance occurred. Author Joseph A. Citro came up with the name the Bennington Triangle, inspired by the more famous Bermuda Triangle. Unlike its oceanic counterpart, however, the Bennington Triangle's mysteries happen on solid ground, or do they? Now it's time to set the stage. Where exactly is this mysterious area, and what makes it so special? The Bennington Triangle is not an official geographic designation that you will find on any map. Instead, it is a nickname given to a roughly triangular area in Bennington County, Vermont. The triangle, quote-unquote, encompasses a large portion of the Green Mountain National Forest, including Glastonbury Mountain and the ghost town of Glastonbury. Picture dense, often fog-shrouded forests, steep terrain, and remote, abandoned logging towns. This rugged country where it's easy to imagine someone taking a wrong turn and never finding their way back home. This area is beautiful, but it can be treacherous. The weather can change in an instant, and the terrain is very challenging even for experienced hikers. It is not hard to see how people could get lost here, especially if they were not prepared. But there's more to the Bennington Triangle than just difficult terrain. The area has a long history of strange occurrences and unsettling legends. Native American tribes, including the Abenaki, considered the area around Glastonbury Mountain to be cursed. They used it only as a burial ground, and they refused to settle there, believing the land to be haunted by an enchanted stone that would swallow anything that came anywhere near it. A quote from the Abenaki tribal elder is, "Our ancestors knew this land was special, but not in a good way. They spoke of a man-eating rock and winds that could steal your soul. These weren't just stories to scare children. They were warnings passed down through all of our generations. When European settlers arrived in this area, they too found the area to be very challenging and somewhat unsettling. The town of Glastonbury was founded in the 1700s, but it struggled to thrive. It briefly boomed as a logging town in the late 1800s, but was eventually abandoned by 1937, becoming one of Vermont's famous ghost towns. The area's remoteness, combined with its history of abandonment and native legends, sets the stage for the mysteries that would unfold in the mid-20th century. Here is another intriguing tidbit about the Bennington Triangle. Glastonbury Mountain, at the heart of the Bennington Triangle, has a reputation for strange electromagnetic phenomena. Compasses reportedly spin wildly near the summit, and electronic devices often malfunction, and some theorists believe this could be linked to naturally occurring magnetic anomalies in the area's geological makeup. The Bennington Triangle's reputation for strangeness didn't begin with the disappearances of the 1940s and 50s. In fact, this area has a long history of odd occurrences and unsettling legends. As we mentioned earlier, the native Abenaki people believed that this region was cursed, but their legends went beyond just a swallowing rock. They spoke of a man-eating wind that roamed the mountains, and of strange lights and sounds that seemed to emanate from the forest itself. When settlers arrived, they brought their own set of superstitions and experiences. Early accounts from the 18th and 17th centuries describe an inexplicable noise, sudden temperature drops, and an overwhelming sense of being watched while traversing the dense forest. The legends of the Bennington Triangle are a fascinating blend of Native American beliefs and settler experiences. It's a perfect example of how landscapes can become imbued with meaning and mystery over time. One particularly intriguing legend from the mid-1800s is a tale of a wild man of Glastonbury. This Bigfoot-like creature was said to stand over 8 feet tall, and he was blamed for the disappearance of several men and the destruction of a stagecoach. The Wild Man of Glastonbury is more than just a campfire story. There were multiple reported sightings, and at least one organized hunt to try and capture this creature. Of course, they never found anything conclusive, but the legend persists to this day. As the 19th century progressed, the area saw a brief period of prosperity with the logging boom. The population of Glastonbury peaked at about 241 in 1880, but this success was short-lived. By the early 1900s, the logging industry had declined and people began to leave the area in droves. The harsh terrain and isolation made farming difficult, and without the draw of the lumber industry, there was little to keep people in this region. In 1937, Glastonbury's town charter was officially revoked, and it became an unincorporated community. Today, it is one of Vermont's most famous ghost towns, with a year-round population you can count on one hand. This is a quote from a local resident of Glastonbury. Living here, you feel like you're on the edge of the world. It's beautiful, but there's always this sense that something's not quite right. Like the forest is watching you, waiting for you to make a mistake. This abandonment added another layer to the area's mystique. The decaying buildings and the overgrown roads served as a tangible reminder of nature reclaiming what humans had briefly carved out. It's against this backdrop of native legends, settler superstitions, and abandonment that the most famous Bennington Triangle incidents occurred. This brings us to the series of disappearances that put this area on the map of mysterious locations. Before we delve into these disappearances, here's another fascinating fact about the Bennington Triangle. The Long Trail, which runs through the Bennington Triangle, is the oldest long-distance hiking trail in the United States. It was completed in 1930 and it stretches 272 miles through the Green Mountains. Several of the Bennington Triangle disappearances occurred near or on this historic trail. Between 1945 and 1950, 5 people vanished in or near the Bennington Triangle area. These disappearances, occurring in such a short time span and in relatively close proximity, are what truly cemented the region's reputation for mystery. The first disappearance happened on November 12th of 1945, when 74-year-old Middle Rivers was guiding a group of 4 hunters on Glastonbury Mountain. Despite his advanced age, Rivers was known as an experienced woodsman and guide, intimately familiar with this area. As the group was returning to camp for lunch, Rivers got slightly ahead of the others. When the hunters reached a clearing where they expected to meet him, Rivers was nowhere to be seen. Despite an extensive search involving hundreds of volunteers, no trace of Middle Rivers was ever found, except for a single rifle cartridge that was discovered in a stream. Whether this cartridge was related to his disappearance remains unknown to this day. The Rivers case is particularly baffling. It was a man who knew these woods like the back of his hand and ended up vanishing without a trace. In most cases, there is some evidence that is found: clothing, equipment, or sadly, the remains. But with Middle Rivers, it was as if the mountain simply swallowed him up. One of Middle Rivers' family members stated, "Grandpa Middle was as tough as they come. He had been out hunting these woods for decades. The idea that he just got lost doesn't make any sense to us. Something happened to him out there. Something we may never understand." The disappearance of Middle Rivers sent shockwaves through the local community. How could somebody so experienced just simply vanish? It was a question that would be asked again and again in the years to come. Perhaps the most famous of the Bennington Triangle disappearances occurred on December 1st of 1946. Paula Weldon was a 19-year-old sophomore at Bennington College. She told her roommate that she was going for a walk. She was dressed in bright red, and she was last seen on the long trail near Glastonbury Mountain. Despite a massive search effort involving over 1,000 people, including FBI agents and the New York State Police, no trace of Paula was ever found. Her disappearance garnered national attention and led to the creation of the Vermont State Police. A retired police officer that was around during this case stated, "The Weldon case was a wake-up call. We realized that we needed a more coordinated approach to handle these kinds of investigations. It's a sad legacy, but Paula's disappearance led directly to the formation of the Vermont State Police." What makes her case particularly puzzling is the number of reported sightings after she disappeared. Several witnesses claimed to have seen a young woman matching her description walking along Route 9. However, none of these leads panned out. The disappearance of Paula Weldon remains one of Vermont's most enduring mysteries, a case that continues to fascinate and perplex investigators to this day. On December 1st of 1949, exactly 3 years after Paula Weldon's disappearance, 68-year-old James Tedford vanished under very bizarre circumstances. James, a veteran, was returning to his home at the Bennington Soldiers' Home after visiting some family. Multiple witnesses had seen him aboard a bus in St. Albans, Vermont. He was reportedly seen still on the bus at the stop before Bennington. However, when the bus arrived in Bennington, James was no longer on the bus. His belongings remained in the luggage rack, but there was no sign of him anywhere. The bus driver went on to state, "I've driven that route hundreds of times, and I've never seen anything like this. How does a man just disappear from a moving bus? It doesn't make any sense." The James Tedford case adds another layer of strangeness to the Bennington Triangle mystery. Unlike the other disappearances, this one did not occur in the wilderness, but in a very public space with multiple witnesses. On October 12th of 1950, 8-year-old Paul Jepson disappeared from a truck where his mother had left him briefly while she fed some pigs. The boy, wearing a bright red jacket, was last seen near the family's farm in Bennington. Bloodhounds had traced Paul's scent to a nearby highway, where the trail abruptly ended. Despite an extensive search, no further trace of the boy was found. In a world where every purchase matters, discover Packed with Purpose, where gifting meets social impact. Imagine sending a gift that not only delights the recipient, but also changes lives. That's the magic of Packed with Purpose. They curate extraordinary gift boxes filled with products from purpose-driven companies across the United States. Each item in their gift boxes tells a unique story. Gourmet treats supporting job creation from the unemployed, eco-friendly office supplies promoting sustainability, artisanal crafts empowering underserved communities, and wellness products funding health initiatives. Whether it's for corporate gifting, client appreciation, or personal celebrations, Packed with Purpose offers a meaningful alternative to traditional gifts. Their expert team ensures that each box is tailored to your needs and your budget. Ready to make your gifts truly impactful? For our listeners today, we have a special offer. Using promo code DAR10, all lowercase, when you place your order, you will get $10 off your first purchase with Packed with Purpose. Visit packedwithpurpose.com today and start gifting with intention. Remember, use code DARK10 for your 10% off on your first order. Packed with Purpose, because every gift should make a difference. Interestingly, Paul's father later claimed that the boy had expressed a strong urge to go into the mountains on the day of his disappearance. The detail about Paul feeling drawn to the mountains is intriguing. Children can be sensitive to things that adults might miss. Was he picking up on something that we couldn't perceive? Or was it simply a child's curiosity about his surroundings? The disappearance of Paul Jepson added a chilling new dimension to the Bennington Triangle mystery. Now it seems that even children weren't safe from whatever force was at work in this area. The final disappearance in this series occurred on October 28th of 1950. Frida Langer, a 53-year-old experienced hiker and camper, vanished during a hike near the Somerset Reservoir on the outskirts of the Bennington Triangle area. Frida had been hiking with her cousin Herbert Elsner when she had slipped and fell into a stream. She told her cousin that she would return to their camp to change clothes, but never arrived. Despite clear weather and her outdoor skills, repeated searches found absolute no sign of her. Her cousin went on to state that she was as capable as they come in the outdoors. She knew these woods. She knew how to handle herself. He stated that he's replayed that day in his mind 1,000 times, trying to figure out what he could have done, or what could have happened. In a twist that distinguishes Frida's case from the others was that her body was found on May 12th of 1951, near Somerset Reservoir. The location was an open area that had been thoroughly searched previously. Due to decomposition, no cause of death could be determined. The discovery of her body in a previously searched area is highly unusual. It suggests that either the body was moved after death or that the initial searches were somehow compromised. Either way, it adds another layer of mystery to an already perplexing case. These 5 disappearances, occurring within a 5-year time span in a relatively close proximity, have fueled speculation and theories for decades. But what could explain this series of vanishings? That's what we're going to explore now. But before we dive into these theories, here is another interesting tidbit. The Bennington Triangle isn't the only mystery triangle in New England. The Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts is known for UFO sightings, strange creatures, and ghostly phenomena. Some researchers believe there might be a connection between these mysterious areas, but that is up for debate. The Bennington Triangle disappearances have sparked numerous theories over the years, ranging from the mundane to the otherworldly. We are going to be examining some of the most prominent explanations that have come up. The most straightforward theories point to the natural dangers of this area. The Bennington Triangle encompasses rugged, heavily forested terrain that can be disorienting even for the most experienced hikers. Harsh weather conditions, particularly sudden fog, that are common in this region, could have contributed to people becoming lost. The weather patterns in this area can be extremely unpredictable. There have been cases where clear skies can turn to extremely dense fog in a matter of minutes. In those conditions, even experienced hikers would lose their bearings. Some have also suggested that animal attacks, possibly from black bears or catamounts, which is an eastern mountain lion, could explain some of these disappearances. While animal attacks are certainly possible, they typically leave evidence behind. The complete lack of remains in most of these cases makes this explanation a lot less likely. However, the possibility that wildlife might have played a role in concealing evidence after the fact cannot completely be ruled out. The natural explanation theory, while plausible, does not fully account for all the strange circumstances surrounding these disappearances, particularly in the case like James Tedford vanishing from a moving bus. Given the area's remoteness, some have speculated that a serial killer might have been operating in this area. The varying ages and genders of the victims, however, does not fit a typical pattern of serial killings. The diversity of the victims make a single serial killer unlikely. However, it cannot be discounted that the possibility of multiple criminals or a group was operating in this area. The remoteness would certainly be attractive to anyone looking to commit crimes undetected. However, others have suggested that the disappearances might be linked to illegal activities in the area, such as bootlegging or hidden marijuana farms, with the victims being silenced after stumbling upon something that they should not have seen. There's a long history of illicit activities that was happening in these mountains, dating back to Prohibition. It is not inconceivable that somebody stumbling upon a secret operation might have been dealt with. The more fantastical theories range from alien abductions to interdimensional portals. Some point to reports of strange lights in the sky and unexplained electronic disturbances in the area as evidence of extraterrestrial involvement. They have documented numerous UFO sightings in the Bennington Triangle area over the years. Is it possible that the disappearances were related to some kind of extraterrestrial activity? It cannot be ruled out. Others harken back to the Native American legends of the region being cursed, suggesting that some malevolent supernatural force might be at work. Whatever it is, there is something different about this area. For paranormal investigators, their equipment often malfunctions, and they pick up strange EMF readings, and they report feelings of unease or being watched. Whether it's ghosts, interdimensional beings, or something else entirely, there's more going on here than meets the eye. Some theorists have suggested that the disappearances might be linked to secret government experiments or facilities in this area. The creation of the Vermont State Police following Paula Weldon's disappearance has been cited as evidence of a potential cover-up. The government's sudden interest in creating a state police force right after her disappearance is suspicious to some. What were they trying to hide or trying to control? And let's not forget, this was right after World War II, when a lot of secret programs were just starting to be developed. A less sensational but intriguing theory suggests that the area might have some geographical or atmospheric feature that affects human psychology, perhaps inducing disorientation or even deliberate wandering. There are documented cases of certain geological formations or atmospheric conditions causing altered mental states. The reports of compasses spinning and electronic equipment malfunctioning could point to some kind of localized electromagnetic anomaly, which might also affect brain function in human beings. This could potentially explain the cases like Paul Jepson, who reportedly felt a strong urge to go to the mountains on the day that he disappeared. While none of these theories fully explain all the aspects of the Bennington Triangle mystery, they each offer intriguing possibilities. The truth may lie in some combination of these factors, or in an explanation that has not even yet been considered. Here's another fascinating fun fact about the Bennington Triangle. The area has been a hotspot for Bigfoot sightings for decades. In fact, the Bennington monster, or the Glastonbury monster, has been part of a local folklore since the 19th century, long before the term Bigfoot entered popular culture. The Bennington Triangle mysteries have left an indelible mark on the local culture and economy of this region. In Bennington and the surrounding areas, the disappearances are more than just local lore. They're a part of this community's identity. Many residents have personal connections to these cases, with family members or friends who had participated in the searches or knew these victims. A local Bennington resident stated, "Growing up here, the stories of the disappearances were just part of our lives. We all knew somebody who was involved in the searches or had a theory about what had happened. It's part of who we are as a community." Local businesses have found ways to capitalize on the area's mysterious reputation. Gift shops sell Bennington Triangle merchandise from t-shirts to coffee mugs. Some tour companies offer guided hikes of the area, promising to retrace the steps of the disappeared while recounting the legends. The Bennington Triangle has definitely put them on the map. They get tourists from all over the country, sometimes even internationally, who come here specifically because of the mysteries. It's a double-edged sword, though. They want to respect the tragedies that occurred while also embracing their unique history. The stories have also inspired numerous books, documentaries, and even works of fiction. Joseph A. Citro, who I mentioned earlier, who had coined the term Bennington Triangle, has written extensively about the phenomena, helping to spread awareness beyond Vermont's borders. A quote from Joseph A. Citro was, "When I first started researching these disappearances, I had no idea how deep the rabbit hole went. The Bennington Triangle is not just about missing persons. It's about the thin line between the known and the unknown, and how we as humans grapple with the inexplicable." However, not everyone in this community embraces this notoriety. Some locals express frustration at what they see as the sensationalization of tragic events. Others worry that the focus on mysteries overshadows the natural beauty and rich history of this region. They want people to come and enjoy the natural beauty of this area, but safely and responsibly. The mysteries are interesting, but they shouldn't overshadow the real importance of preserving and respecting these wilderness areas. In recent years, there have been renewed efforts to apply modern scientific and investigative techniques to the Bennington Triangle mysteries. Advanced mapping technologies, including LiDAR, which is light detection and ranging, have been used to create detailed 3D maps of this area. These maps have revealed previously unknown geological features and helped search teams identify areas that might have been overlooked to past investigations. The LiDAR mapping has been a game changer. They have discovered hidden caves, unusual rock formations, and even some old structures that were completely overgrown. It's giving a whole new perspective on the landscape and where these disappearances had occurred. Forensic experts have re-examined old evidence using new techniques. While this has not led to any breakthroughs in the cases, it has helped to eliminate some of the theories and focus the investigation on more probable scenarios. Modern DNA analysis and forensic techniques has provided tools that investigators in the 1940s and 50s could not have dreamed of. While they haven't solved the mysteries yet, they're asking for better questions now. For example, they've been able to rule out some potential suspects and narrow down the likely areas where remains might be able to be found. Some researchers have turned to environmental studies, examining factors like geomagnetic anomalies, unusual weather patterns, and even the potential presence of infrasound, low-frequency sound waves that can induce feelings of unease and disorientation in humans. That sound that you just heard is a simulation of infrasound. Some theories suggest that certain geographical features in the Bennington Triangle area might naturally produce infrasound, potentially contributing to disorientation and strange experiences reported by visitors. Recently, they have detected some unusual electromagnetic activity in parts of the Bennington Triangle. It's not conclusive yet, but it could potentially explain some of the equipment malfunctions and disorienting experiences that people have reported. They're also looking into whether local geological features could be producing infrasound. Despite these efforts, the Bennington Triangle disappearances remain unsolved. However, the application of modern techniques has helped to narrow down possibilities and to help provide new avenues for investigation. Cold cases like these are challenging, but not impossible to solve. Every new technique that is developed gives us another chance to uncover the truth. We may not have all of the answers yet, but we are closer than we have ever been to getting them. The ongoing investigation of the Bennington Triangle mysteries serves as a testament to human curiosity and our enduring desire to understand the unexplained. As we come to the end of our journey through the Bennington Triangle, we're left with more questions than answers. Again, 5 disappearances, each strange in its own right, have combined to create a mystery that has endured for over 7 decades. We've explored the dense forests and the steep terrain of southwestern Vermont, delved into Native American legends and settler superstitions, and have examined theories ranging from the mundane to the supernatural. What really happened to Middle Rivers, Paula Weldon, James Tedford, Paul Jepson, and Frida Langer? Were they victims of the harsh wilderness, of human malice, or of something beyond our understanding? The truth still remains elusive. For the family members of the missing, not knowing is the hardest part. After all these years, they still hope for answers. But even if they never find out what happened, they want people to remember that these were real people, with lives and loved ones, not just characters in a mystery story. Perhaps the enduring nature of the Bennington Triangle mystery tells us something about ourselves. Our fascination with these disappearances reflects our innate curiosity, our desire to make sense of the seemingly senseless, and our need to find patterns in the chaos of the world that surrounds us. Mysteries like the Bennington Triangle serve an important psychological function. They remind us that the world is still full of the unknown, that there are still frontiers to be explored, both in the physical world and in our understanding of it. They challenge us to keep questioning and to keep exploring. As science and technology advance, we may one day uncover the truth behind the Bennington Triangle disappearances. But until then, this patch of Vermont wilderness will continue to captivate our imagination, reminding us that sometimes the greatest mysteries lie right in our backyard. Before we go, we would love to hear from you, our listeners. Have you ever experienced something unexplained in the wilderness? Do you have a theory about what might have happened in the Bennington Triangle? Share your thoughts with us on our website or social media pages. And remember, the next time that you're out hiking or camping, take a moment to appreciate the mysteries of the natural world. Just be sure to bring a map and tell someone where you're going. That's all for this episode of Dark Crossroads. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of the Bennington Triangle. Next week, we will be exploring another mystery that you will not want to miss. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review because it really does help us out. Your support truly does help us continue to bring these fascinating stories to light. Until next time, keep exploring. Stay curious, and remember, sometimes the greatest mysteries are hidden in plain sight. Welcome to Dark Crossroads Podcast, hosted by Roxanne Fletcher. This is your stop for all things true crime and paranormal. From the infamous story of the New Bedford Highway Killer to the chilling tale of the Black-Eyed Children, Dark Crossroads Podcast is a truly deep dive into the stories that frighten and fascinate you. All links to the show will be provided in this episode's description. And don't forget to let us know what you think of today's episode. Alrighty, so it's that time, guys, to say goodbye. But before I do so, I just want to send a thank you to all of my listeners for your continued love and support and for sending in cases that you want covered and stories that you want read on the podcast. We truly accept all stories, including scary, paranormal, and funny. Any cases you want covered or stories that you want read on the podcast, just please send them in to darkcrossroadspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for hanging out again today, and if you want any more information about the podcast or cases and stories that we cover, then head on over to the website at www.darkcrossroadspodcast.com. There you can find all of the information about the podcast, a link to our merch, and also our blog covering all of the cases that we cover. You can also find us on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like, share, rate, review, subscribe wherever you're listening to us. You can subscribe to the podcast for bonus information. There is a link in all episodes in the notes that will send you to our subscription page, and with that you will get bonus content, discount on future merch, and a lot of extra goodies. Every single dollar that comes through donations or through our subscription goes straight into the podcast, helping fund research, and it really helps us out and keeps this podcast going. And with all of this said, please don't forget to be weird, stay different, and don't trust anyone. Are you a science enthusiast? Someone who loves to tinker? Or are you just a lifelong learner? Get ready to embark on a journey of discovery with the Curiosity Box. The Curiosity Box is not just a subscription service. It is your ticket to a world of wonder delivered right to your doorstep. Every quarter, they pack a box full of mind-blowing science experiments, brain-teasing puzzles, and exclusive collectibles that will ignite your imagination. Conduct real experiments that dazzle and educate. Assemble gadgets that challenge your problem-solving skills. Explore scientific concepts through hands-on activities, and collect unique items that celebrate the joy of discovery. Whether you are 8 years old or 80 years old, the Curiosity Box brings out the scientists and all of us. It is perfect for family bonding, classroom enrichment, or solo exploration. Each box is carefully curated by a team of scientists and educators to ensure hours of engaging educational fun. Ready to unleash your inner scientist? Subscribe now and you will get an out-of-this-world offer just for our listeners. Using promo code DARK when you sign up, you will receive a free Light Your Bottle for your first box. Visit the Curiosity Box today and start your journey into the extraordinary. Remember to use code DARK to receive your free Light Year bottle. The Curiosity Box, where curiosity leads to discovery.